Thank you for giving me blood.
Thank you for giving me blood.
Thank you for saving my life.
Give blood to the Red Cross and change a life, starting with your own.
I'm Abon.
I'm Sonia.
And I'm Kate, and today we are dishing with you from La Ferme, located at 7101 Brookville Road in Chevy Chase. I've heard this is the place to come for a filet mignon.
Oh, really?
We'll find out.
French.
It's French.
And it's from the farm.
Put two together.
Yeah.
Well, our guest today is lobbyist and actor Will Gartshore. Welcome.
Thank you.
So lobbyist, actor, sort of redundant?
Well, actually, sometimes, yeah, it feels that way. So.
Well, tell us, what came first, wanting to be a lobbyist or wanting to be an actor?
Definitely wanting to be an actor. The lobbyist thing sort of came about late in the game. But yeah, I've been a professional actor for a decade now and was doing it full time up until 2 years ago. And then I guess DC kind of sucked me in. I was in New York originally, and I decided to add something to the plate. So
you're starting to see that now with DC sucking in actors. For example, Will Penn. His name Will Penn. No, the guy from House, the show House. He's actually working with Obama right now.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Cal Penn.
And
Yeah.
Harold Kumar's guy?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, that guy.
See, it's the place to be.
So there's something about Washington that brings the acting out of people.
It's true.
No, tell us what you're in right now.
I'm actually working on a project with the ballet, which is a new thing for me. It's a production of The Great Gatsby.
I'm going to see that shortly.
Are you really?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. Well,
this week.
So how will we see you in it? What are you doing? Are you dancing?
I am not in tights, no. I know.
That's what we want to see.
Maybe next time around. On my first outing with the ballet, I'm just going to be, it's set in the 20s, obviously, so there's a lot of period music. Myself and Ifate Butler, who's an actress in town and singer, are going to be singing some period songs from the 20s, and then also they're having me narrate a bit with some text from the book, which is actually a great book. I hadn't realized because I've never read it. So.
How did you get away with that as an actor?
Did you bring it up in the audition? I hope not.
Actually, I think they found it sort of charming. I mean, we were just discussing.
Classic literature.
You got it. Classic literature for Americans. Yes.
It's a bit Canadian.
Oh, right.
Bringing that classic Canadian
My
acting.
brethren.
Your brethren, right?
Yes.
It is sort of a quintessential American novel, so they didn't, it was not required reading back home.
Anne of Green Gables was.
Yes, Anne of Green Gables was, definitely.
And I think that was required here, too. Anyway.
When they turn that into a ballet, will you be there? Maybe are you
Anne of Green Gables?
Yeah, are you thinking of turning?
It's already a musical, you know.
That's right.
Well,
You'll be Gilbert Blythe,
but
perhaps. For those who know Anne of Green
wow,
Gables.
this is turning into a whole different show. I love when this is happening. Okay.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about the process of turning your part of the process of turning the ballet part into acting and bringing your own thing into it, not being a dancer.
Well, it's
or
interesting.
maybe you are a dancer, maybe not ballet.
I wouldn't go quite to the triple threat level. I'm sort of more a double threat, I guess. No, but I think it's been interesting to watch Septime Weber, who runs, it's his production, and bring in these different elements, the singing, the text. He said, I think it's the only second time he's ever put text in a ballet. So
it's kind of unusual to have text in a ballet, and I think Septime does a good job with that, kind of making it less traditional.
Yeah.
But since you are trained in traditional acting and traditional theater, do you like that? Do you not like that?
I find it kind of fascinating. I mean, it's up to the audience to sort of figure out how all the pieces fit together, but as I watch it develop over the last week, I've only been involved for the last week or so, and all the elements seem to be coming together. The trickier part is actually speaking text from a novel, because it's not written to be spoken necessarily, and so it's really great prose, but sometimes it doesn't sort of fall trippingly off the tongue because it's not written as dramatic text.
Was there any adaptation for the original text or prose, or is this straight from the book?
I've got pages from the book. I mean, we've done a little bit of line editing to sort of condense things and just get the essential information, but it's not written as dialogue, definitely.
Okay. Well, coming from strong, I'm asking all the questions. I'm sorry, I'll stop because.
Well, good. You must want to be an actor.
I'm fascinated by somebody who comes from a Canadian, which Canada has a very strong. Fascinating. What happens up there? No, very strong theater happens in Canada, and then to work in New York, go to school in New York, and then come to Washington, which I think a lot of people don't think of as like a serious theater town.
But we are a Shakespearean theater town, like you wouldn't believe. Have you ever done Shakespearean?
I've worked with the Shakespeare Theater, not in like a full full-fledged production, but yeah.
Well, getting back to your question, is that what brought you down here?
It's actually not. I never expected to end up in Washington. I came down to do a show back in 2000 at the Signature Theater. It was a musical based on a guy who got trapped in a cave in Kentucky back in the 20s. Fascinating show.
Is that the one that you won your Helen Hayes Award for?
No, that was the first time I got nominated, but I did not win for that one. So. Anyway, one thing that led to another. I came down to work more, and then I kind of liked it down here. I like the atmosphere. I like the people. Very smart people in this town. So,
thanks.
If I do say so. So I think that's sort of. I just gradually got pulled down here. So.
Well, the Signature Theater is a great place to be in a show. Is that your favorite venue? Is that the stage you prefer to grace the most?
It's where I've worked the most, I guess, because I do sing, and so as far as musical theater in this town, they're definitely sort of the preeminent one. That's what they focus on, and they do a lot of contemporary work, which is most of the musical work I've done. I haven't done a lot of the old war horses. I just did Showboat a couple months ago, which was one of the only times I've done like an old classic, but usually I do much more contemporary stuff, and that's their bread and butter. So.
And so, have you ever had to do an accent?
I have had to do an accent.
What's your best accent?
What is my best accent? Well, I do like the Irish accent.
We would like to hear that
We'd
now.
like to hear that
What's
now.
your favorite accent before you do the Irish accent? What's your favorite?
Favorite that I can do or that I can't do?
Can you do French? We're in a French restaurant.
Yeah.
I suppose I could try to do a little bit of the French, but I'm probably going to get shot by one of the actual French people in the restaurant.
I think that was okay.
Okay, good.
I'm not sure what part of France you're coming from.
Neither am I.
You said French.
Probably Quebec.
No, in Quebec, Quebecois is a lot worse.
Well, have you thought about moving from the stage to directing and producing? What are we going to see from Will Gartshore in the future?
Wouldn't that be nice?
Or is it just all about lobbying from now on?
Well, it's not all about lobbying. I mean, I'm trying to balance both lives the last 2 years. I mean, I have a full-time job, so I can't do quite as many shows as I used to. And so it's a tricky balance, but I try and do sort of cabaret and concert type gigs, which are easier to fit into the schedule. The ballet, which is like a week-long commitment as opposed to a 3-month-long commitment. So I'm going to keep it up. And then I kind of have to decide, at some point whether these are parallel paths or whether they actually diverge at some point. So we'll see.
What do you say to people that see you in a boardroom or across the table setting that say, "I think you look so familiar. Do you sing?"
It's always fun when the worlds sort of cross, and all of a sudden they're like, hmm. It doesn't happen that often on the Hill. I guess they aren't theater goers. But sometimes. Some of my coworkers, I work for an environmental organization. I work for World Wildlife Fund. So some of my colleagues at other environmental organizations do say, "Hey, didn't I see you on stage in XYZ?" So yeah, that's fun. And it's nice to be able to sort of share both sides. And at work, this past fall, because I was doing a show, they sort of started to take more notice of the fact that the show was happening, and so all of a sudden you see like they have a different perspective on you, which is kind of fun.
A good perspective, or?
I think so, yeah. And it seems so novel and strange in a way, which is cool. Because a lot of people, I guess, it seems like a whole other world. So to have someone wandering through your midst.
It is a whole other world.
Actors are weird,
Well, DC, step away from the politics and get into the play and go and see Will Gartshore. He is right now in The Great Gatsby with the Washington Ballet. As always, thank you for watching us on this episode of The District Dish.